Good morning children, this is English video session for class 10. The book which we are doing now is First Flight, chapter number 3, two stories about flying, his first flight and the black aeroplane. Two stories about flying. This comprises of two stories, his first flight by Liam O'Flaherty and the second one by Black Aeroplane by Frederick Forsyth. Okay, his first flight, Liam O'Flaherty, Liamoflaherty, Black Aeroplane, Frederick, Fredrik, Forsyth, Forsyth. Since the earliest times, humans have dreamt of conquering the skies. Here are the two stories about flying. A seagull is afraid to fly. How does he conquer his fear? A pilot is lost in the storm clouds. Does he arrive safe? Who helps him? So we are going to do about the two stories. One is about the seagull, how he conquers the fear. Another is about a pilot who is lost in the storm clouds and how he comes back and how he was helped. Is it clear? Now his first flight. Liam O'Flaherty. A young seagull was alone on the ledge. What is a ledge? A ledge is a narrow horizontal shelf projecting from the wall, a cliff. Okay, something which is projecting horizontally. Okay, from the wall is a ledge. Ledge. You can also call it as a cliff. Ledge. 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 Cliff. 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 Okay. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. The day before they have started to fly. Flying, flown. What is the spelling of flown? Flown. 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 Fly, fly. Flying, flying. Flown. Flown. He has been afraid to fly with them. He should also have been there with them. But he was not flying. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. Afraid. F-R-A-I-D. He became afraid. He got fear. What entered into his body? Fear entered into his mind and body. Clear? So, when he was running little forward, it's okay. But when he came to the brink of the ledge, almost towards the end, when he comes and attempted, he becomes afraid. The great expanse of the sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. So the great expanse, the sea is so big, stretched so broadly beneath, and down full everywhere you can see, miles down, only the water. He felt certain that his wings would never support him. He felt that his wings will not support him and he will fall into the river and die. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. So there is a hole. He put his head down, ran away, and slept. Even when each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings, and flew away, he failed to muster up courage to take up that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. The one who were younger to him, who had shorter wings, muster courage and they fly. But this seagull does not come till the brink, put his head, goes back to the hole, and sleeps off. He believed that his feathers will not support him. Okay? His father and mother had come around, calling him shrilly, upbraiding him. Upbraiding? Scolding him. Come on, do it, do it. Threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away. They scolded that they will not give them food. But for the life of him, he could not move. But unfortunately, he did not get the courage to move at all. Clear? That was 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come near him. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sisters, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the waves and how to dive for fish. He had, in fact, seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it. Standing on the rock while his parents circled around, raising a proud crackle, and all the morning the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him with his cowardice. So you can see here how the parents are encouraging the older brother, who himself brought the herring and how he was eating. They are trying to encourage the small birds to fly and try to make their own living. All the morning, the whole family, the mother, the father, all the baby birds, walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him every time they tried to say, come on, do it. But unfortunately, his cowardice, the fear inside him, the cowardliness inside him, never allowed him to take the flight. Okay? What is herring? Herring is a small, soft finned sea fish. It's a sea fish, herring. The sun was now ascending the sky. So what does it mean? It is going brighter. Blazing on his ledge that faced the south, he felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. Before that night, also, he did not eat any food. They said that they would not give the food, and he has to take a dive and find a food for himself because he had not eaten since the previous night. See the picture? All the birds are flying, but he comes till the end of the ledge but doesn't take the flight. He stepped down to drink on the brink of the ledge, and standing on one leg, the other leg hidden under his wing, he closed one eye, then the other, and pretended to be falling asleep. Still, they took no notice of him. He saw his two brothers and sisters lying on the plateau, dozing with their heads sunk into their neck. His father was preening. What is preening? Making an effort to maintain feathers. Preening. Take care of the feathers. The feathers of his white back. Only his mother was looking at him. She was standing on the little high hump of the plateau. Her white breast thrust forward now and again. She tore a little at a piece of fish that lay at her feet and then scraped each side of a beak on the rock. The sight of the food maddened him. How he loved to tear food that way, scraping his beak now and again to whet it, to sharpen it. Ga, ga, ga. He cried, begging her to bring him some food. Gaw, caw. She screamed back derisively, but he kept calling plaintively, and after the minute or so he uttered a joyful scream. His mother has picked up a piece of fish and was trying to cross to him with it. He leaned out eagerly, tapping the rock with his feet, trying to get nearer to her as she flew across. But she was just opposite to him. She halted for the wings motionless, the piece of the fish in her beak almost within the reach. He waited for the moment in surprise, wondering why she did not come nearer. Then, maddening by hunger, he dived at the fish. With a loud scream, he fell outward and downward into the space. Then a monstrous terror seized him, and his heart stood still. He could hear nothing, but it only lasted for a minute. The next moment, he felt his wings spread outwards. The wind rushed against his breast, feathers, then under his stomach and against his wings. He could feel the tips of the wings cutting through the air. He was not falling headlong now. He was soaring gradually downwards and upwards, downward and outwards. He was no longer afraid. He just felt a bit dizzy. Dizzy? An uncomfortable feeling, spinning around and losing one's balance. Dizzy. D-I-Z-Z-Y. Then he flapped his wings once and he soared upwards. Ga 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 ga, gow. His mother swooped past him, his wings making a loud noise. He answered her with another scream. Then his father flew over him screaming. He saw his two brothers and his sisters flying around him, curveting and banking and soaring and diving. Then he completely forgot that he had not always been able to fly. He commended himself to dive and soar and curve and shrieking shrilly. He was near the sea now, flying straight over it, facing straight over out over the ocean. He saw the vast green beneath him, with the little ridges move over it, and turned his beak sideways and cawed amusedly. Okay, such a beautiful story of the seagull which refused to fly, which was not ready, which always felt that his wings will not support him, and lived with fear. The whole night he did not have any food. He was dying of hunger the next day also. He was not able to muster his courage to fly, whether his own younger brothers and sisters were able to get the flight, go and take the food of their choice and devour it. Everybody tried to prompt him, tried to tickle him, and make him try to fly, but he was so much absorbed into the fear and that he couldn't come out of his cowardice and he remained there. This I stop. Please read and come the full whole story again to the next class. Thank you, children.